You're listening to Amazing Radio. This is Amazing Afternoons. I'm delighted to have J.Chambers on the line with us right now. Jay, how's it going?
It's good, man. Thanks for having me, Frankie. Thanks for all the radio support as well, man. Like what you could do, what you guys do is really important and really helps a lot of artists. So I really appreciate it, man.
Jay, I feel like we've been playing your music now for a good few years, and I still feel as an artist, I think you're unappreciated because I think your music is so good. I just want to expose it to as many people as I can, and certainly that's what I'm doing every time you upload a track to us here at Amazing Radio. But for someone dipping in, who maybe not be as familiar as I am with your music, could you just tell people who you are and what you're all about briefly, please?
Yeah, so my name's J.Chambers. I'm an MC and a dub poet. My music generally is kind of, I guess, unpacking the notion of identity. So obviously being of Jamaican descent, a lot of my music taps into reggae, but also is still very UK hip hop. And it's like the personification of a Black British experience. Or that's how I like to view it anyway.
Yeah, and that's definitely received in the music. I think you are you're a perfect example of British roots music in a way. You know,
Thank you.
you personify that to me, and and we're very lucky that you've shared a session with us as well, which we'll be playing now during the course of this interview. And I think it's great. I think it's exciting. It's a reflection of society as well, lyrically. I think, which is important in music. I mean, it feels like as well, it's a kind of an expression of not frustrations, but I feel that your music in a way is an outlet for you to kind of get those frustrations about civil kind of injustices in a way.
100%. Like, I feel like whenever something happens, I end up writing it. Like Escape the Kingdom, the first album, that literally happened after me and my friends ended up leading the first protest in Manchester, the Black Lives Matter one in like the 20, was it like 2020 or 2019?
Yeah.
And Escape the Kingdom literally as a project came about around that time, just after that. And so not being in that experience just kind of prompted me to reflect. And then naturally anything that kind of happens, I want to write about it, I guess, because it's a best way of kind of venting it and I
Yeah.
guess informing people. A lot of these conversations that happen on social media get heated very quickly, but music is almost like a neutral playing field where you can communicate ideas and hopefully people are more receptive to receiving them,
Yeah,
if
I
that makes
think
sense.
it does make complete sense. And I think it's as well as informing people, I think people just want their views represented in culture as well. And I think you convey that very well by holding up a mirror to society. But I definitely think you're very comfortable in your sound at the moment. Would you say you're in the best place you have been to this point with your music?
100%. Like it's been such a long journey. Like I first started out like making old school boom bappy type stuff, like essentially trying to be like Lupe Fiasco. And then like as I kind of grew into myself and just kind of found out more of myself and looked inwards, the answer was there. A large part of my journey into reggae is from my family. My family is like full of reggae musicians, and yeah, it just kind of happened from there. One of my cousins, Too Nice, who's on 218 or 213, depending on where you access it. He was one of the main people who kind of pushed me into doing more reggae stuff. And it's like, it makes sense. Look at the family, look at where you're from, look at, the influences you have. Why is this not represented in your music? And then here we are.
Yes. Shout out Coral Fire. 3 years on, every word's still true. Yo. Since Windrush we've been let down, still politicians don't back down. 3% of the population did that service, the motivation. 11,000 affected, 100 cent quick. Guess I forgot who the guest is. Yes, it's obviously system suppresses to test our elected. So what's that we asked for a death wish? Ain't surprised with their scheming though. Rishi Sunak's a heathen bro. Think about how he treats us, no. System ain't trying to see us grow. 500,000 brought here to rebuild. If they depict us, it ain't as skilled, as strong-willed. Still picking cotton in the field, but then they gave us the game. We'll keep on switching the rules. Won't acknowledge our pain. Keep on taking our jewels, swapping cotton for colton in Congo. Shame as we beg and we borrow. Better tomorrow is hollow, it never ended the sorrow. Getting more critical, trauma is cyclical. When we are brainless, it's typical. Leavers and treated, defeated, but just as elective, we need it, believe it. But when we achieve it, you read it. Yeah, will the system change? The only divide us is when the reminders that they don't view us the same. So put a. They try to hide her wisdom, to keep us stuck inside this damn maze. But we're gonna start her in this kingdom. So put a fire to this damn place. Put a fire to this damn place. Put a fire to this damn place. Set a fire to this damn place. Put a fire to this damn place. Set a fire to this damn place. Put a fire to this damn place. We're gonna start a riot in this kingdom and set a fire to this damn place.
No, it's really, really cool, and I can really sense that your heritage is important to you, but at the same time, you know, it's 2023. You're surrounded in Manchester, I believe, by a great city. You know, it is, you know, the England's second city, really, isn't it? You know, in terms of culture and history of that as well, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Manchester's really interesting, particularly like when you're going around, like a lot of the companies are starting to explore like the cotton heritage, but there's not a lot of discussion of actually the trade that was beyond the cotton. So obviously looking at, you know, the colonial roots of it and the impact of the triangular trade as well. So it's actually quite interesting. Me and my friends were out having a beer the other day, and we were talking about this. We were like, it's mad. You've got places like called Cottonopolis or Cotton this and Cotton that, which are celebrating it, but there's no actual unpacking of, you know, where those names come from. Like even some of the old mills that are being converted now, like in Manchester, we've got these like bougie loft apartments and stuff. When you look at the names of the people who owned them, they're people who were financially benefiting from the slave trade, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, I guess, you know, what we saw in the Black Lives Matter movement, especially in towns like Bristol, maybe, then they're definitely starting to think about those kind of things, aren't they, since then?
Yeah, I guess you need to be, in order for Britain to be entirely post-colonial, it needs to have an honest discourse with itself. That starts with looking at who made money. That starts then, but goes beyond that of, okay, who made money? How we can't necessarily give everybody money back because it'd be hard to do because of record keeping, but we can kind of work out how we can create an even keel by, you know, maybe giving funds to certain areas or helping certain communities get back up on to an economic level playing field, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. If we could speak about the tunes a bit more, Jay. I mean, you're obviously a musician, even though you are front and center of this project. I mean, what's your instruments? What was your first instrument you took up? Because you can tell by the arrangement on these tracks, a lot of thought's gone into this.
Thank you. Drums mainly. So like from the age of like 12 till about 21, I played drums pretty seriously, and then fell out of love with that, and then literally picked up the mic and started doing what I do now. The arrangements and stuff, I'm just really lucky. I have a really good team. So like my band are really involved with it. Simeon, my sound engineer, also musical directs a lot of it. So like when we're in rehearsals, like there's a clip up on my Instagram of a new song which actually comes out in May called Uprising. And if you watch the background, I'm doing my thing and Simeon's literally like whipping the band into shape. It's really, really funny. So a lot of it is to do with the talented musicians I work with. So shout out those guys, and also the team I've got that I wouldn't be here without them.
So special on the boards. Yes.
I go right
This one's for the dream chasers. Let's
you
go.
gotta go for what you know. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta go for gold. You gotta grind until you get what you want. Yeah. I'm just giving you this ghetto gospel.
Dear diary, today I've been thinking some better thoughts, like how to put work in without wanting rewards, like how to break the cycle of merely survival, monetary gains, fame and worshiping idols. What's the price of your soul when you're chasing your goals, ducking calls from your mum knowing it's done to be cold? I'm not perfect, quick temper, fleeting with fate, known to cut my nose off in spite of my fate. I can't replace all the lessons I be escaping the fights. Half the struggles we face are on the basis we black. I know it's holding us back, pressure ain't making us crack. They built the diamonds to finest, so they need to relax. Like calls from friends in the pen, needing to lend. I'd rather offer my ear than hear addiction again. I know there's fear in this pen, as I'm writing my truth. I close my eyes and reprise to inspire the youth. I capitalize on my tries, it inspires my truth. I realize all the lies that they tell in the booth. But wait, the motivate the falling, it's It's about how you rise, and now I see my calling. It's time to redefine.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta go for broke. Man, you gotta grind until you get what you want. Yeah. I'm just giving you this ghetto gospel.
Dear diary, today came with a little more challenge of fighting this case, testing my faith. How'd you stay balanced? The same only skills are currently taught, but access to credit is leveraged against the streets that we walk. And though it's in fraught, the cost of living's in crisis. Though we pray to Christ, it's like he's not hearing our vices. And though we each have crosses to bear, the concept of care is a myth when our own struggles eclipsed. Like organizations faking solidarity, casually backing causes like families, still financial disparities reveal intentions. There's disappointment in blessings, no use in the stress, and I guess know my answers to questions. Many times you see me fall, but I'll always rise. I keep my heart in alignment because I've seen the signs. Is it a sign of times that there's rising crime? So as the bell chimes, they try to hide the cries of lies on my tries. It inspires my truth. I realize all the lies that they tell in the group. But wait, the motivate the falling. It's about how you rise, and now I see my calling. It's time to redefine.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta go for broke.
Keep on grinding
until you get what you want. Yeah. I'm just giving you this ghetto gospel.
This Black History Month has been my most silent. I had to go into the mountains to recruit from the violence. See the price I pay for sharing my voice. I never share for care of you thinking it's a choice. This month I've cried real tears, acknowledging what a struggle it's actually been just to be here. Watching a write out wretch to capitalise on an H. Bashi said they'd paint my dreams Professor Greensburg keepsake. So if the game's unlocked, who's really holding the keys? I'm bumping to Pimp a Butterfly, screaming this shit ain't free. I thought we reached bliss when we first heard Swiss cry. Our story over the radio waves, raves, conversations with allies. For most of you I know this isn't your fault, but can you turn the blind eye to the spoils sat inside your vault? Often the most ignorant of people masquerade as allies. That's the bar. So if you feel targeted, then you know who you are. You can be the blackest in the room in the face of whiteness, yet snake your kinfolk for the name and likeness. Does my life in music match your directional goals? Or is the struggle something you exploit to fulfill an area of you that isn't quite whole? Opting not to fight is like leaving the relay at the third place, after benefiting from the few helps set the pace. As our marathon continues, though life is momentary, not every impact is monetary. After I'm dead and buried, will they count my pockets to see what I sell? Why do we focus on the shell in the hopes of fulfilling the core? When I'm no longer here, I hope these words stand for something even more. Ghetto gospel.
So, what's the approach then when you go to write a track now? Are you writing down as a poet just things, observations and things like that, and then take it to the rest of the team and say what's the tone, what's the mood behind this track, and let's build it around that?
It's interesting. So at the moment, I'm working with a producer called Kongs Dramatic, who's in Protege and the Indignation. So he's based in Kingston. So like he'll send me some track ideas. I'll then sit and I'll build stuff around it, and then it'll be like a back and forth. Then once we've got that in a solid idea where I've got like lyrics, we've got like a general progression of what we want, I then take it to the band. The band then record their parts to it, or in some cases they will like actually like tweak the song musically, and then it's almost become like this cyclical process. So like a lot of the music that you'll hear coming out past May, a lot of the music you hear has been part of that process. Like we go to Jamaica to actually work in the lab together on the 11th of May. Me and the team are flying out there to do that.
Whoa, that's so cool. Have you been over there before?
As a young child, yeah, but never as an adult. So the next project is kind of exploring that notion of homecoming and just what it means, I guess. Children of the diaspora. Like if you look at Escape the Kingdom, I don't know if I'm giving away too much here, but I'll tell you anyway because you're a G. So Escape the Kingdom, the last album, was kind of about looking at Britain and being like, okay, I feel like this place, I love this place, but it doesn't know how to love me back. So how do I navigate that? Well, escaping the notion of kingdom, escaping the notion of colonialism is a way to get that and help progress society forward. So then the next step beyond that is going home to where you're from. So the next project is called Homecoming, and it's kind of exploring that. And then the journey from that is then realizing actually Jamaica is where I'm from, but that's not home either. So I'm kind of, if you imagine a Venn diagram, you've got like England here, you've got Jamaica there, and I'm somewhere in between. And that's what this next body of music is about.
No, that's so exciting. I can't wait to hear that. And what an exciting moment for everyone else as well, heading over there. It's, it's going to be incredible experience, something you remember forever. I mean, you've got these live dates as well coming up. That must be exciting too.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So it's like my first solo headline tour, which is cool. So we're playing like Leeds, the Hyde Book Club in Leeds next Monday, and then we're playing the Grace in London, and then we're doing Manchester at a place called Gulliver's. So they're all like really small, intimate shows. And the reason for that is to give me an opportunity to kind of actually just talk to the audience that come and like have these conversations. Like a lot of my shows is conversation, it's explaining the notion of tracks. And I feel like if I'm able to do that, it just resonates better. So yeah, that's the idea behind that tour.
It's really cool. I mean, apart from your scene, if you like, of this kind of genre of music in the UK, I guess like you'd be relevant to other stuff which is holding a mirror up to society. So I don't know what you listen to, but I mean, we play stuff like Benefits and Sleaford Mods, for example, here, who are very political, and I guess and in your music as well. In that respect, it's kind of punk, isn't it, in 2023?
100%. Like Kenny, my photographer, pointed this out. He was like, "You're a punk artist," and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Think about like the music and the way that you write it. It is very, very punk." And acts that are amazing, like Bob Dylan, who do that hybridity of that so well, a really big kind of inspiration behind that. And I think it would be interesting to experiment with some harsher kind of sounds or try and weave more of that in there. But yeah, definitely aware of that. I was made aware of that quite recently.
Yeah, sorry to do so again, but yeah, it's because of the music we play, and I think a lot of people are frustrated about society over here in the UK, and music is a great art form and a form of expression, isn't it? So I think a lot of people, what we normally see is something like the government may have peed off a lot of teenagers, and now within the early 20s they're starting to put it down on paper or put it down on record. So it's sometimes a bit of a delay in that. I mean, good for culture that we've got all this amazing material coming our way over the next few years, but bad for society that we've had to endure such a terrible establishment, I guess.
Literally, like music's the only form of protest they can't kill. So like they're trying to make it illegal for young people to go and voice their opinions out on the streets. They're trying to censor what young people say online, but music, because it's codified, they don't know how to interpret it. Like if you play an amazing body of work like Kano's Hoodies All Summer, which is literally about his experience here. If you play that to a politician, a conservative politician, they're not even going to be able to begin to understand him before they're unpicking the lyrics that he's saying. So I think music or art that young people are making now is almost like smoke signals that are only going to be received by those they intend them to.
Yeah, and I guess that makes their generation stronger if they connect on those kind of things.
Yeah, it's smart.
So you said you're heading off to Jamaica to do that recording. Does that mean that we're going to have more new music in 2023, or have you already got stuff in the vault ready to release?
We've got so much music. It's actually a joke. So I'm releasing a single every month for the year, just because I can.
Yeah.
And then in the set, along with that, I'm also going to be starting the rollout for Homecoming. So I've got the first single for that, which is called Uprising, which is going to come out in May. I can't remember, the 11th of May, the date we fly, that comes out. Cool. So I'm going to throw that on the uploader for you. I've put a new one up called Give Me a Sign, which is this month's single. And then after that's kind of done its course, so maybe like middle of this month, I'll put Uprising on there for you guys to hear as well. But anything post May is going to be back into the reggae vein.
Oh, brilliant. Can't wait to hear that, Jay. Before we go, is there anyone out there in your stratosphere who you think deserves a shout out, maybe in Manchester or beyond, who, we're all about new and emerging music. Have you seen something recently or bumped into someone that's exciting you?
Yeah, all of the Manchester scene. So there's an amazing guy called I Am 1023 who's like a producer, singer, songwriter. There's Caveman who's like an MC. Also, he does amazing youth work and uses hip hop as a way to get young people to express themselves. in London, you've got like the Halls People Army Clique. So you've got like Logic, Amy True, Elskin, these types of guys. In Leeds, you've got MCs like Testament, who are really cool, who's actually opening for me. And so there's just lots of great UK music there. I think the UK music scene is really healthy right now. And I think in order for the political side of it to expand, it just needs more interest. And, you know, people like you are really helping that. So hopefully anyone listening to this will go out and check and support those artists too.
Yeah, Jay, you know, we're only as strong as the music we receive here at Amazing Radio, and honestly, you're absolutely smashing it at the moment. And I love supporting your music. Thanks so much for giving us a session as well, and we really can't wait to see what you do next.
No worries. Thank you very much, man. Thanks for having me again.
Yes. Shouts to Sound on TV for having us. Shouts to Spirit Studio for the bass. My name's J.Chambers. On horns we've got Will and Lewis. On keys we've got Liv. On guitar we've got Anton. And on the drums we've got Rob. I'm going on tour this April. Love it if you come out and check us out. Shouts to 465 Live. Shouts to everyone who's been supporting. It means a lot. Shouts to Sim on the buttons as well. Yeah. These are my city road flows. The postcode make a man. It plays a bigger hand than we ever planned. Picture this. BBC on the TV, seeing Reggie Yates, thinking one day it could be me. National Front, straight up on the walls, not feeling welcome at all. We're all poor, so why is colour my flow? But if no one has a pot to piss in, then what's the difference? Knowing you're the one to go the distance, to show resistance. Rocking US brass to my class, knowing that people would laugh. The impact of the past, cause in a way, I know it drove my love for J's. I keep balling, but I ain't smoked her for days, I keep falling. Never fazed by the struggle, I was raised in the jungle, so remain on a humble. Yeah. Through the rain and the thunder, I refrain from the trouble. Now I'm making time to move away, through the pain. Time to get my own life together. Though the faces I still remember, cause I'll always be a baby boy. I'm moving away through the fire and flame. Time to make a change for the better. Though the ends I'm still gonna remember, cause I'll always be a Blakely boy, a Blakely boy. Cause I'll always be a Blakely boy, a Blakely boy. A Blakely boy, a Blakely boy. Cause I'll always be a Blakely boy, a Blakely boy. These are my city road flows, with the postcode make the man. It plays a bigger hand than we ever planned. In the school of hard knocks, when you drop you have to find your feet. Stand tall when they test you, you can't be weak. Stand your ground, it's better to home the space. Hindsight is bittersweet, yo it's deep if they pre the taste. Nothing to waste, my folks with multiple jobs. Was clear from day one way of beating the odds. It's somewhat lost, trying to make a change. Profiled by the police in the streets are often fans of flames. So what's the game? Change status to when it's contagious. These things don't make us or break us, it takes us time to figure out who we are. If we do, you go far, just believe, though it's hard. Look at me, went from boy in front of the TV to poetry on the BBC, and now you see me lately boy. Time to get my own life together. Though the faces I still remember, cause I'll always be a Blakely boy. While I'm moving away through the fire and flame. Time to make a change for the better. Though the ends I'm still gonna remember, cause I'll always be a Blakely boy, cause I'll always be a Blakely boy, a Blakely boy, a Blakely boy, a Blakely boy. Cause I'll always be a Blakely boy, a Blakely boy, a Blakely boy. Cause I'll always be a Blakely boy, a Blakely boy. Yeah, a Blakely boy. Cause I'll always be a Blakely boy, a Blakely boy.